wants to start? Somebody tell me how you got here and how you got involved in the league.
Well, I retired from the DuPont company about 23 years ago, I think, give or take, and moved to Sussex County. And I was here for a couple of years before I found out about the league. But when I did, I was extremely interested in helping out with voting because it was one of those election years. And I thought it was important that people get registered to vote. So I volunteered, and I can still remember somebody saying, how do you want to get involved? And I said, well, I'd like to volunteer for voter registration. And I said, can I do that before my check clears? The membership check. And they said, yeah, you can go right now.
Yeah, we're not gonna hold you up on
So that's
details.
how I got involved. And I spent most of the next 10 years, involved with voter services, usually as the chair of the committee. And I think we made great strides in registering voters across Sussex County.
Cool. How about you, Susan?
I'm new to the area. I was in Pennsylvania for a long time, and then in South Dakota for a job for just a few years, and wanted to come back to the East Coast. So here I am, and I was very involved with the women voters in Pennsylvania. And so it's something that I had missed and was really excited to get back into it.
Where in Pennsylvania?
Northwest PA.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm from Philly area, but I lived out between Indiana, Altoona, and Johnstown, like right in the middle of that for a few years. So bounced around.
Because I was actually born in Pennsylvania.
Oh, you were?
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I think that's true of a lot of people in Delaware, right? Especially, if you.
We got New Jersey, we've got Connecticut, we've got Virginia, Maryland. We've got a spread down here.
Yeah, yes. I guess the Pennsylvanias stand out to me since that's where I'm from too. Right? So, and is this the first year that you ladies have been involved in Vote 411? Or Connie, have you been involved in that before? Or Susan, were you involved in that where you were before?
Okay.
Do you want me to answer that first?
Sure, go ahead.
I've been involved with Vote 411 the whole time I was chair of the Voter Services Committee. So I am, familiar with the great strides we have made over the years in making this a really good program.
Yeah. Susan, were you involved in it in your previous league, or is it?
No, it was just starting when I was actively involved before. I don't know how old 411 is, but I was not involved in Pennsylvania. So this is new to me. This is my first.
Yeah, when I was in the suburban league outside of Philadelphia, and it was literally, I think, 20 years ago, that's the one thing I really, really remember us doing, right? Like, I don't remember a whole lot of what else we did, but I do remember Vote 411 and trying to get, maybe it wasn't called that then, maybe it was just a voter's guide. It was probably just a voter's guide, but trying to get people to get their answers in and all of that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So I know it's always a struggle, and in some ways it seems like with the newer media stuff, it's almost harder to get hold of people. It used to be, if you had a phone number, that was how you get hold of people, right? And now it's like, is it email? Is it Facebook? So how's it been this year for getting hold of?
Yeah, Connie, how has it been this year as opposed to other years?
My experience is it's been much more fruitful this year than it's been in the past. I mean, I think we had a much higher lift in earlier years that I remember than I did this time. Okay. Maybe just lucky this time, but people seem much more receptive.
Like in terms of the candidates responding and getting their stuff. Well, it's a higher visibility. I wonder if it helps that it's kind of like probably everybody and their brother is voting and sister, right, is voting this year, right? So maybe that higher visibility makes them more.
Yeah. People understand the immense problem we're dealing with this year, and I think they're very interested in voting this year.
Yeah, we've had a lot of actually new league memberships. I think for that same reason, kind of people who know of the league, but maybe they've not been active for a while or they've never been a member. And we're just people just kind of joining. I'm not sure they're really affiliated with anything aside from they know the league's work from somewhere previous. So that's been exciting. So what would you want to tell people? So I guess it'll be 2 years before we have a big push again, because Delaware seems to cluster their election people, right? Like most of the things are every 2 years or Like, well,
We
there is,
only have voting every 2 years. It's every other year that we have an election. There's nothing in between.
right. So what would you tell? So what, when people say, I'd be interested in finding out more about that. What's the one thing you would tell them about this job inside the league?
Sorry, what are you calling this job?
So if somebody said, oh, well, maybe next time I'll be involved in that, what's one thing you would want to tell them about being involved with VOTE411? What would be your?
I think one of the most important things we can do in trying to get people interested in voting is let them understand who the candidates are and what they stand for. Because most people have no exposure to these candidates at all. So, I mean, I really think VOTE411 is an excellent source of information about the candidates.
Yeah.
And I actually thought about this. I would say that in the era of AI, we can guarantee that, well, at least somebody from the campaign, I was going to say, has to submit directly to the website. So there's no filter. We don't interfere with that. And I think we can say pretty assuredly that it's factual and from the candidate.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see I wonder if it will be better or worse on that front by the next time, right? Like AI will not be as new, but it will advance. So it'll be interesting to see how that affects things. All right. Well, thank you, ladies. Do you have anything else you want to add for the good of the world here?
The second thing I would say is make sure Connie is on the committee because she's very good.
Let's take the time to give people new space for new ideas. It was time for new ideas.
Yeah, it's nice to have a mix, right, of people who have experience and people who are fresher, who maybe can see some things, but people who also know, what has been done and what have the notebook of like where to start, right? So.
And every time Judy calls, I talk with her.
Well, there you go. It's wonderful to meet you all, and hopefully I will see you. Are either of you volunteering at the candidates forums? Are you going to be able to do that?
I haven't had a chance to actually look at that yet. I'm doing a lot of canvassing for candidates this year, and it's trying.
So that's that'll be highlighted again. There's one a week from Thursday, and then the rest of them are all in October, and that'll be highlighted again in the newsletter. So we'd love to see you in person at some of that, but we appreciate what you've done already. You're a leg up on the rest of us, for most of whom are just gearing up for kind of our part. So
there's a job for everyone.
And
everyone can participate in this.
Or maybe 2 or 3 jobs, but we won't go there.
It was nice to meet both of you.
All right, good to see you. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.